Preliminary Invocation. Thee I invoke, the Bornless One. Thee that didst create the earth and the heavens. Thee that didst create the night and the day. Thee that didst create the darkness and the light. Thou art Osoronofris, whom no man has seen at any time. Thou art Jabas. Thou art Japaios. Thou hast distinguished between the just and the unjust. Thou didst make the female and the male. Thou didst pronounce the seed and the fruit. Thou didst form men to love one another and to hate one another. I am Moshe, thy prophet, unto whom thou didst commit thy mysteries, the ceremonies of Israel. Thou didst produce the moist and the dry, and that which nourisheth all created life. Hear thou me, for I am the angel of Paphrosoronofris. This is thy true name, handed down to the prophets of Israel. Hear me, Or Thiao Rebet Athele Berseth A Blatha Abio Ebio Fi Thetaso Ib Thiao. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the aether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. I invoke thee, the terrible and invisible God, who dwellest in the void place of the spirit. Arogo goro brao sothao modorio falarthao deo ape, the Bornless One. Hear me, hear me, hear me. Robriao mariodam balbna baioth asalno nai afniao ethoteth Abrasar Aeom Ishor, mighty and Bornless One, hear me, hear me, hear me. I invoke thee, Ma Barayao Joel Kotha Athore Balo Abrayoth. Hear me, hear me, hear me. Eoth Abayoth Basum Isaac Sabayoth Eao. This is the Lord of the gods. This is the Lord of the universe. This is he whom the winds fear. This is he who, having made voice by his commandment, is Lord of all things, King, ruler, and helper. Hear me, hear me, hear me. Eo porio poriot, eo eo abrasar sabriam du Adonai de angelos ton theon anaya laegaya epethayantana. Thorun, I am he, the Bornless Spirit, having sight in the feet, strong in the immortal fire. I am he, the truth. I am he who hate that evil should be wrought in the world. I am he that lighteneth and thundereth. I am he from whom is the shower, the life of earth. I am he whose mouth ever flameth. I am he, the begetter and manifestor unto the light. I am he, the grace of the world. The heart girt with a serpent is my name. Come thou forth and follow me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the aether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. Eo Sabayo. Such are the words. Goetia. The initiated interpretation of ceremonial magic. It is loftily amusing to the student of magical literature who is not quite a fool, and rare is such a combination, to note the criticism directed by the Philistine against the citadel of his science. Truly, since our childhood has ingrained into us not only liberal belief in the Bible, but also substantial belief in Alf Lailahai was Lailahai, and only adolescence can cure us. We are only too liable, in the rush and energy of dawning manhood, to overturn roughly and rashly both these classics, to regard them both on the same level as interesting documents from the standpoint of folklore and anthropology, and as nothing more. Even when we learn that the Bible, by a profound and minute study of the text, may be forced to yield up Kabbalistic arcana of cosmic scope and importance, we are too often slow to apply a similar restorative to the companion volume, even if we are the luck holders of Burton's veritable edition. To me, then, it remains to raise the Alf Lailahai wa Lailahai into its proper place once more. I am not concerned to deny the objective reality of all magical phenomenon. If they are illusions, they are at least as real as many unquestioned facts of daily life. And if we follow Herbert Spencer, they are at least evidence of some cause. Now, this fact is our base. What is the cause of my illusion of seeing a spirit in the triangle of art? Every smatterer, every expert in psychology will answer, that cause lies in your brain. English children, pace the Education Act, are taught that the universe lies in infinite space, Hindu children in the Akasha, which is the same thing. Those Europeans who go a little deeper learn from Fichte that the phenomenal universe is the creation of the ego. Hindus or Europeans study under Hindu gurus and told that by Akasha is meant the Chitakasha. The Chitakasha is situated at the third eye, for example, in the brain. By assuming higher dimensions of space, we can assimilate this fact to realism, but we have no need to take so much trouble. This being true for the ordinary universe, that all sense impressions are dependent on changes in the brain, we must include illusions, which are, after all, sense impressions as much as realities are in the class of phenomena dependent on brain changes. Magical phenomena, however, come under a special subclass, since they are willed, and their cause is the series of real phenomena, called the operations of ceremonial magic. These consist of 1. Sight, the circle, square, triangle, vessels, lamps, robes, implements, etc. 2. Sound, the invocations. 3. Smell, the perfumes. 4. Taste, the sacraments. 5. Touch, as under 1. 6. Mind. The combination of all these and reflection on their significance. These unusual impressions, 1 through 5, produce unusual brain changes, hence their summary, number 6, is of unusual kind. Its projection back into the apparently phenomenal world is therefore unusual. Herein then consists the reality of the operations and effects of ceremonial magic, and I conceive that the apology is ample, as far as the effects refer only to those phenomena which appear to the magician himself. The appearance of the spirit, his conversation, possible shocks from imprudence, and so on, even to ecstasy on the one hand, and death or madness on the other. But can any of the effects described in this, our book, Goetia, be obtained? And if so, can you give a rational explanation of the circumstances? Say you so? I can, and I will. The spirits of the Goetia are portions of the human brain. Their seals, therefore, represent Mr. Spencer's projected cube, methods of stimulating or regulating those particular spots through the eye. The names of God are vibrations calculated to establish A. General control of the brain, establishment of functions relative to the supple world. B. Control over the brain and detail, rank or type of the spirit. C. Control of one special portion, name of the spirit. The perfumes aid this through smell. Usually the perfume will only tend to control a large area, but there is an attribution of perfumes to letters of the alphabet, enabling one, by a Kabbalistic formula, to spell out the spirit's name. I need not enter into more particular discussion of these points. The intelligent reader can easily fill in what is lacking. If, then, I say, with Solomon, the spirit Simmeries teaches logic. What I mean is, those portions of my brain which subserve the logical faculty may be stimulated and developed by following out the processes called the invocation of Simmeries. And this is a purely materialistic rational statement. It is independent of any objective hierarchy at all. Philosophy has nothing to say, and science can only suspend judgment, pending a proper and methodical investigation of the facts alleged. Unfortunately, we cannot stop there. Solomon promises us that we can 1. Obtain information, 2. Destroy our enemies, 3. Understand the voices of nature, 4. Obtain treasure, 5. Heal diseases, etc. I have taken these 5 powers at random. Considerations of space forbid me to explain all. 1. Brings up facts about from the subconscious. 2. Here we come into an interesting fact. It is curious to note the contrast between the noble means and the apparently vile ends of magical rituals. The latter are disguises for sublime truths. To destroy our enemies is to realize the illusion of duality, to excite compassion. Ah, Mr. Waite, the world of magic is a mirror wherein unto the seas muck is muck. 3. A careful naturalist will understand much from the voices of the animals he has studied long. Even a child knows the difference of a cat's meowing and purring. The faculty may be greatly developed. 4. Business capacity may be stimulated. 5. Abnormal states of the body may be corrected, and the involved tissue brought back to tone, in obedience to currents stated from the brain. So, for all other phenomena, there is no effect which is truly and necessarily miraculous. Our ceremonial magic finds down, then, to a series of though, of course, empirical, physiological experiments, and whoso will carry them through intelligently need not fear the result. I have all the health and treasure and logic I need. I have no time to waste. There is a lion in the way. For me, these practices are useless, but for the benefit of others less fortunate, I give them to the world, together with this explanation of an apology for them. I trust that the explanation will enable many students who have hitherto, by a puerile objectivity in their view of the question, obtained no results, to succeed, that the apology may impress upon our scornful men of science that the study of the bacillus should give place to that of the bacillum. The little to the greatest, how great one only realizes when one identifies the wand with the Mahulingam, up which Brahma flew at the rate of 84,000 Yohanas a second for 84,000 Mahakapalas. Down with Vishnu flew at the rate of 84,000 crores of Yohanas a second for 84,000 crores of Mahakalapas. Yet neither reached an end. But I reach an end. By Boleskine House, Foyer's Envy. Preliminary definition of magic. Lemigeton vel clavicula Solomonus Regis. Magic is the highest, most absolute, and most divine knowledge of natural philosophy, advanced in its works and wonderful operations by a right understanding of the inward and occult virtue of things, so that true agents, being applied to proper patience, strange and admirable effects will thereby be produced. Whence magicians are profound and diligent searchers into nature, they, because of their skill, know how to anticipate an effort, the which to the vulgar shall seem to be a miracle. Origen saith that the magical art doth not contain anything subsisting, but although it should, yet that it must not be evil, or subject to contempt or scorn, and doth distinguish the natural magic from that which is diabolical. Apollonius Tyaneus only exercised the natural magic by the which he did perform wonderful things. Philo Hebraeus saith that true magic, by which we do arrive at the understanding of the secret works of nature, is so far from being contemptible that the greatest monarchs and kings have studied it. Nay, among the Persians none might reign unless he was skillful in this great art. This noble science often degenerateth from natural becometh diabolical, and from true philosophy turneth unto nigromancy, the which is wholly to be charged upon its followers, who, abusing or not being capable of that high and mystical knowledge, do immediately hearken unto the temptation of Satan, and are misled by him into the study of the black arts. Hence it is that magic lieth under disgrace, and they who seek after it are vulgarly esteemed sorcerers. The fraternity of the Rosicrucians thought it not fit to style themselves magicians, but rather philosophers, and they be not ignorant empirics, but learned and experienced physicians, whose remedies be not only lawful, but divine. The brief introductory description. NB. This is taken from several MS codices, of which the 4 principal variations are here composed together in parallel columns, as an example of the close agreement of the various texts of the Lemigeton. For in the whole work of the differences in the wording of the various codices are not sufficient to require the constant giving of parallel readings, but except in the more ancient examples there is much deterioration in the seals and sigils, so that in this latter respect the more recent exemplars are not entirely reliable. Clavicula Salomonus Regis, which containeth all the names, offices, and orders of all the spirits that ever he had conversed with the seals and characters to each spirit, and the manner of calling them forth to visible appearance. In 5 parts. First, the first part is a book of evil spirits called Goetia, showing how he bound up those spirits and used them in general things, whereby he obtained great fame. The second part is Book of Spirits, partly evil and partly good, which is named Theurgia Goetia, all aerial spirits, etc. The third part is of spirits governing the planetary hours, and what spirits belong to every degree of the signs, and planets in the signs called the Pauline art, etc. The fourth part of this book is called Almdel, or Solomon, which containeth those spirits which govern the four altitudes of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. These two last orders of spirits are good, and to be sought for by divine seeking, etc., and are called Theurgia. The fifth part is a book of orations and prayers that wise Solomon used upon the altar in the temple, the which is called Ars Nova, which was revealed unto Solomon by that holy angel of God called Michael. And he also received many brief notes written with the finger of God, which were declared to him by the said angel with claps of thunder, without which notes King Solomon had never obtained his great knowledge. For by them, in a short time, he knew all the arts and sciences, both good and bad. From these notes it is called the notary art, etc. The whole Lemigetin or Clavicula. Now this book containeth all the names, orders, and the offices of all the spirits with which Solomon ever conversed, the seals and characters belonging to each spirit, and the manner of calling them forth to visible appearance, divided into 5 special books or parts. The first book or part, which is book concerning spirits of evil, and which is termed the Goetia of Solomon, showeth forth his manner of binding these spirits for use in things divers, and hereby did he acquire great renown. The second book is one which treateth the spirits mingled and good and evil natures, the which is entitled the Theurgia Goetia, or the magical wisdom of the spirits aerial, whereof some do abide, but certain do wander and abide not. The third book, called Ars Paulina, or the Art Pauline, treateth of the spirits allotted unto every degree of the 360 degrees of the zodiac, and also of the signs and of the planets in the signs, as well as of the hours. The fourth book, called Ars Armadel Solomonus, or the Art Almadel of Solomon, concerneth those spirits which be set over the quaternary of the altitudes. These two last mentioned books are the Art Pauline and the Art Almadel, do relate unto good spirits alone, whose knowledge is to be obtained through seeking unto the divine. These two books be also classed together under the name of the first and second part of the book Theurgia of Solomon. The fifth book of the Lemigetin is one of prayers and orations, the which Solomon of the Wise did use upon the altar in the temple, and the titles hereof be Ars Nova, the new art, and Ars Notaria, the notary art, the which was revealed to him by Michael, the holy archangel of God, the holy angel of God, in thunder and in lightning. And he further did receive by the aforesaid angel certain notes written by the hand of God, without the which that great king had never attained unto his great wisdom. For thus he knew all things and all sciences and arts, whether good or evil. Clavicula Salomonus Regis, which containeth all the names, offices, and orders of all the spirits with whom he ever held any converse, together with the seals and characters proper unto each spirit, and the method of calling them forth to visible appearance. In 5 parts. The first part is a book of evil spirits called Goetia, showing how he bound up the spirits and used them in things general and several, whereby he obtained great fame. The second part is a book of spirits, partly evil and partly good, which he called Theurgia Goetia, all aerial spirits, etc. The third part is of spirits governing the planetary hours, and of what spirits do belong to every degree of the signs, and of the planets and the signs. This is called the Pauline art, etc. The fourth part of this book is called Almdel of Solomon, which containeth those spirits which do govern the 4 altitudes of, or the degrees of the 360 degrees from the zodiac. These 2 last orders of spirits are good, and are called Theurgia, and are to be sought for by the divine seeking, etc. The fifth part is a book of orations and prayers, which wise Solomon did use upon the altar in the temple, the which is called Ars Nova, the which was revealed to Solomon by that holy angel of God called Michael. And he also received many brief notes written with the finger of God, which were declared to him by the said angel with claps of thunder, without which notes King Solomon had never obtained his great wisdom, for by them in short time he gained knowledge of all arts and sciences, both good and bad. From these notes it is called the notary art, etc. The Book of Evil Spirits, the Key of Solomon, which containeth all the names, orders, and offices of all the spirits that ever Solomon conversed with, together with the seals and characters belonging to each spirit, and the manner of calling them forth with visible appearance, in 4 parts. 1. The first part is a book of evil spirits called Goetia, showing how he bound up the spirits and used them in several things, whereby he obtained great fame. 2. The second part is a book of spirits, partly good and partly evil, which is named Theurgia Goetia, all aerial spirits, etc. 3. The third part is a book governing the planetary houses, and what spirits belong to every degree of the signs, and planets in the signs, called the Pauline art. 4. The fourth part is a book called the Almdel of Solomon, which containeth 20 chief spirits who govern the 4 altitudes, or the 360 degrees of the zodiac. These 2 last orders of the spirits are good, and called Theurgia, and are to be sought after by divine seeking. These most sacred mysteries were revealed unto Solomon. Now in this book Lemigeddon is contained the whole art of King Solomon, and although there be many other books that are said to be this, yet none is to be compared hereunto, for this containeth them all, though there be titles with several other names of the book, as the book Helisol, which is the very same with this last book of Lemigeddon called Ars Nova, or Ars Notaria, etc. These books were first found in the Chaldee and Hebrew tongues at Jerusalem by a Jewish rabbi, and by him put into the Greek language, and thence into Latin, as it is said. Shemhem Mefresh. Spirit 1. Baal. The first principal spirit is a king ruling in the east, called Baal. He maketh thee to go invisible. He ruleth over 66 legions of infernal spirits. He appeareth in divers shapes, sometimes like a cat, sometimes like a toad, and sometimes like a man, and sometimes all these forms at once. He speaketh hoarsely. This is his character, which is used to be worn as a lamen before him who calleth him forth, or else he will not do thee homage. Spirit 2. Agares. The second spirit is a duke called Agrius, or Agares. He is under the power of the east, and cometh up in the form of an old fair man, riding upon a crocodile, carrying a goshawk upon his fist, and yet mild in appearance. He maketh them to run that stand still, and bringeth back runaways. He teaches all languages or tongues presently. He hath power also to destroy dignities, both spiritual and temporal, and causeth earthquakes. He was of the order of virtues. He hath under his government 31 legions of spirits, and this is his seal, or character, which thou shalt wear as a lamen before thee. Spirit 3. Vasago. The third spirit is a mighty prince, being of the same nature as Agares. He is called Vasago. This spirit is of a good nature, and his office is to declare things past and to come, and to discover all things hid or lost. And he governeth 26 legions of spirits, and this is his seal. Spirit 4. Samagina, or Gamigun. The fourth spirit is Samagina, a great marquis. He appeareth in the form of a little horse or ass, and then into human shape doth he change himself at the request of the master. He speaketh with a hoarse voice. He ruleth over 30 legions of inferiors. He teaches all liberal sciences, and giveth account of dead souls that died in sin. And his seal is this, which is to be worn before the magician when he is invocator, etc. Spirit 5. Marbas. The fifth spirit is Marbas. He is a great president, and appeareth at his first in the form of a great lion, but afterwards, at the request of the master, he putteth on human shape. He answereth truly of things hidden or secret. He causeth diseases and cureth them. Again, he giveth great wisdom and knowledge in mechanical arts, and can change men into other shapes. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which is to be worn as aforesaid. Spirit 6, Valphor. The sixth spirit is Valphor. He is a mighty duke, and appeareth in the shape of a lion, with an ass's head bellowing. He is a good familiar, but tempteth them. He is a familiar to steal. He governeth 10 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which is to be worn, whether thou will have him for a familiar or not. Spirit 7, Amul. The seventh spirit is Amul. He is a marquis, great in power, and most stern. He appeareth like a wolf with a serpent's tail, vomiting out of his mouth flames of fire. But at the command of the magician he putteth on the shape of a man, with dog's teeth set in a head like a raven, or else like a man with a raven's head simply. He telleth all things past and to come. He procureth feuds and reconcileth controversies between friends. He governeth 40 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which is to be worn, as aforesaid, etc. Spirit 8, Barbados. The eighth spirit is Barbados. He is a great duke, and appeareth when the sun is in Sagittary. With 4 noble kings and their companies of great troops, he giveth understanding of the singing of birds, and of the voices of other creatures, such as the barking of dogs. He breaketh the hidden treasures open that have been laid by the enchantments of magicians. He is of the order of virtues, of which some part of he retaineth still, and he knoweth all things past and to come, and concealeth friends and those that be in power. He ruleth over 30 legions of spirits. His seal of obedience is this, the which wear before thee, as aforesaid. Spirit 9, Pimen. The ninth spirit in this order is Pimen, a great king, and very obedient unto Lucifer. He appeareth in the form of a man sitting upon a dromedary, with a crown most glorious upon his head. There goeth before him also an host of spirits, like men with trumpets, and well-sounding cymbals, and all other sorts of musical instruments. He hath a great voice, and roareth at his first coming, and his speech is such that the magician cannot well understand unless he can compel him. The spirit can teach all arts and sciences, and other secret things. He can discover unto thee what the earth is, and what holdeth it up in the waters, and what mind is, and whereth it is, or any other thing thou mayest desire to know. He giveth dignity, and confirmeth the same. He bindeth or maketh any man subject unto the magician, if he so desire it. He giveth good familiars, and such as can teach all arts. He is to be observed towards the west. He is of the order of dominations. He hath under him 200 legions of spirits, and part of them are of order of angels, and the other part of potentates. Now if thou callest this spirit Pimen alone, thou must make him some offering, and there will attend him 2 kings called Labal and Abalin, and also other spirits who be of the order of potentates in his host, and 25 legions. And those spirits which be subject unto them are not always with them, unless the magician do compel them. His character is this, which must be worn as a lamen before thee, etc. Spirit 10, Boier. The 10th spirit is Boier, a great president. He appeareth in Sagittary, and that is his shape, when the sun is there. He teacheth philosophy, both moral and natural, and the logic art, and also the virtues of all herbs and plants. He healeth all distempers in man, and giveth good familiars. He governeth 50 legions of spirits, and his character of obedience is this, which thou must wear when thou callest him forth unto appearance. Spirit 11, Gusian. The 11th spirit order is a great and strong duke called Gusian. He appeareth like a Xenophilus. He telleth all things, past, present, and to come, and showeth the meaning and resolution of all questions thou mayest ask. He concealeth and reconcileth friendships, and giveth honor and dignity unto any. He ruleth over 40 legions of spirits. His seal is this, the which wear thou as aforesaid. Spirit 12. Seatree. The 12th spirit is Seatree. He is a great prince, and appeareth at first with a leopard's head. With a leopard's head, and the wings of a griffin. But after the command of the master of the exorcism, he putteth on human shape, and that very beautiful. He inflameth men with women's love, and women with men's love, and causeth them also to show themselves naked, if it be desired. He governeth 60 legions of spirits. His name is this, to be worn as a lament before thee, etc. Spirit number 13, Baleth. The 13th spirit is called Baleth, or Baleth. He is a mighty king and terrible. He rideth on a pale horse with trumpets and other kinds of musical instruments playing before him. He is very furious at his first appearance. That is, while the exorcist layeth his courage, for to do this he must hold a hazel wand in his hand, striking it out towards the south and east quarters, make a triangle without the circle, and then command him into it by the bonds and charges of spirits, as hereafter followeth. And if he doth not enter into the triangle, at your threats, rehearse the bonds and charms before him. And then he will yield obedience, and come into it, and do what he is commanded by the exorcist. Yet he must receive him courteously, because he is a great king, and do homage unto him, as the kings and princes do that attempt upon him. And thou must have always a silver ring on the middle finger of the left hand, held against thy face, as they do yet before Amamon. This great king Baleth causeth all the love that may be, both of men and of women, until the master exorcist hath had his desire fulfilled. He is of the order of powers, and he governeth 85 legions of spirits. His noble seal is this, which is to be worn before thee at working. Spirit 14, Lerage, or Leracha, Lerahe. The 14th spirit is called Lerahe, Leraje, Lerache, Lerai. He is a Marquis, great in power, showing himself in the likeness of an archer clad in green, and carrying a bow and quiver. He causeth all great battles and contests, and maketh wounds to putrefy that are made with arrows by archers. This belongeth unto Sagittary. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and this is his seal, etc. Spirit 15. Eligos. The 15th spirit in order is Eligos, a great duke, and appeareth in the form of a goodly knight, carrying a lance and ensign and a serpent. He discovereth hidden things, and knoweth things to come, and of wars, and how the soldiers will or shall meet. He causeth the love of lords and great persons. He governeth 60 legions of spirits. His seal is this, etc. Spirit 16, Zapar. The 16th spirit is Zapar, or Zapar. He is a great duke, and appeareth in red apparel and armoire, like a soldier. His office is to cause women to love men, and to bring them together in love. He also maketh them barren. He governeth 26 legions of inferior spirits, and his seal is this, which he obeyeth when he seeth it. Spirit 17, Botus. The 17th spirit is Botus, a great president and an earl. He appeareth at the first show in the form of an ugly viper. Then at the command of the magician he putteth on a human shape, with great teeth and 2 horns, carrying a bright and sharp sword in his hand. He telleth all things past and to come, and reconcileth friends and foes. He ruleth over 60 legions of spirits, and this is his seal, etc. Spirit 18, Bathin. The 18th spirit is Bathin. He is a mighty and strong duke, and appeareth like a strong man with the tail of a serpent, sitting upon a pale-colored horse. He knoweth the virtues of herbs and precious stones, and can transport men suddenly from one country to another. He ruleth over 30 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which is to be worn as aforesaid. Spirit 19. Salos. The 19th spirit is Salos, or Salios. He is a great and mighty duke, and appeareth in the form of a gallant soldier riding on a crocodile, with a ducal crown on his head. But peaceably he causeth the love of women to men, and of men to women, and governeth 30 legions of spirits. His seal is this, etc. Spirit 20. Person. The 20th spirit is Person, a great king. His appearance is comely like a man with a lion's face, carrying a cruel viper in his hand, and riding upon a bear. Going before him are many trumpets sounding. He knoweth all things hidden, and can discover treasure, and tell all things past, present, and to come. He can take a body either human or aerial, and answereth truly of all earthly things, both secret and divine, and of the creation of the world. He bringeth forth good familiars, and under his government there be 22 legions of spirits, partly of the order of virtues, and partly of the order of thrones. His mark, seal, or character is this, unto which he oweth obedience, and which thou shalt wear in time of action, etc. Spirit 21. Marax. The 21st spirit is Marax, or Marx. He is a great earl and president. He appeareth like a great bull with a man's face. His office is to make men very knowing in astronomy and all other liberal sciences. Also, he can give good familiars and wise, knowing the virtues of herbs and stones, which be precious. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which must be made and worn as aforesaid, etc. Spirit 22. Ipos, or Ipos. The 22nd spirit is Ipos, or Ipos. He is an earl and a mighty prince, and appeareth in the form of an angel with a lion's head, and a goose's foot, and hare's tail. He knoweth all things, past, present, and to come. He maketh men witty and bold. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which thou shalt wear, etc. Spirit 23. Aim. The 23rd spirit is Aim, or Aim. He is a great strong duke. He appeareth in the form of a very handsome man in body, but with 3 heads. The first like a serpent, the second like a man having 2 stars on his forehead, and the third like a calf. He rideth on a viper, carrying a firebrand in his hand, wherewith he setteth cities, castles, and great places on fire. He maketh thee witty in all manner of ways, and giveth true answers unto private matters. He governeth 26 legions of inferior spirits, and his seal is this, which wear thou as aforesaid, etc. Spirit 24. Naberius, or Naberius. The 21st spirit is Naberius, or Naberius. He is a most valiant marquis, and showeth in the form of a black crane, fluttering about the circle, and when he speaketh it is with a hoarse voice. He maketh men cunning in all arts and sciences, but especially in the art of rhetoric. He restoreth lost dignities and honors. He governeth 19 legions of spirits. His seal as this, which is to be worn, etc. Spirit 25. Glazia Balas. The 25th spirit is Glazia Balas. He is a mighty president and earl, and showeth himself in the form of a dog with wings like a griffin. He teacheth all arts and sciences in an instant, and is the author of bloodshed and manslaughter. He teacheth all things past and to come. If desired, he causeth the love both of friends and of foes. He can make a man to go invisible, and he hath under his command 36 legions of spirits. His seal is this, to be, etc. The 26th spirit. Boon, or Bime. The 26th spirit is Boon, or Boon, or Bime, or Bim. He is a strong, great, and mighty duke. He appeareth in the form of a dragon with 3 heads, one like a dog, one like a griffin, and one like a man. He speaketh with a high and comely voice. He changeth the place of the dead, and causeth the spirits which be under him to gather together upon your sepulchres. He giveth riches unto a man, and maketh him wise and eloquent. He giveth true answers unto demands, and he governeth 30 legions of spirits. His seal is this, unto the which he oweth obedience. He hath another seal, which is the first of these, but the last is the best. Spirit 27, Ronove. The 27th spirit is Ronove. He appeareth in the form of a monster. He teacheth the art of rhetoric very well, and giveth good servants knowledge of tongues, and favours with friends or foes. He is a marquis and great earl, and there be under his command 19 legions of spirits. His seal is this, etc. Spirit 28th, Berith. The 28th spirit in order, as Solomon bound them, is named Berith, or Berith. He is a mighty, great, and terrible duke. He hath 2 other names given unto him by men of later times. Visualization, Baal, or Baal, and Bofri, and Bulfrey. He appeareth in the form of a soldier with red clothing, riding upon a red horse, and having a crown of gold upon his head. He giveth true answers, past, present, and to come. Thou must make use of a ring in calling him forth, as is before spoken of regarding Baleth. He can turn all metals into gold. He can give dignities, and can confirm them unto men. He speaketh with a very clear and subtle voice. He governeth 26 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 29, Astaroth, or Astaroth. The 29th spirit is Astaroth, or Astaroth. He is a mighty strong duke, and appeareth in the form of an hurtful angel riding on an infernal beast like a dragon, and carrying in his right hand viper. Thou must in no wise let him approach too near unto thee, lest he do thee damage by his noisome breath, wherefore the magician must hold the magical ring near his face, and that will defend him. He giveth true answers of things past, present, and to come, and can discover all secrets. He will declare wittingly how the spirits fell, if desired, and the reason of his own fall. He can make men wonderfully knowing in all liberal sciences. He ruleth 40 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which wear thou as a laman before thee, or else he will not appear, nor yet obey thee, etc. Spirit 30, Fornius. The 30th spirit is Fornius. He is a mighty and great marquis, and appeareth in the form of a great sea monster. He teacheth and maketh men wonderfully knowing in the art of rhetoric. He causeth men to have a good name, and to have the knowledge and understanding of tongues. He maketh one to be beloved of his foes, and well as of his friends. He governeth 29 legions of spirits, partly of the order of thrones, and partly of the angels. His seal is this, which wear thou, etc. Spirit 31, Forus. The 31st spirit is Forus. He is a mighty president, and appeareth in the form of a strong man in a human shape. He can give the understanding to men how they may know the virtues of all herbs and precious stones. He teacheth the arts of logic and ethics in all their parts. If desired, he maketh men invisible, and to live long, and to be eloquent. He can discover treasures and recover things lost. He ruleth over 29 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which wear thou, etc. Spirit 32, Asmodai. The 32nd spirit is Asmodai, or Asmodai. He is a great king, strong and powerful. He appeareth with 3 heads, whereof the first is like a bull, the second like a man, and the third like a ram. He bathed also the tail of a serpent, and from his mouth issue flames of fire. His feet are webbed like those of a goose. He sitteth upon an infernal dragon, and beareth in his hand a lance with a banner. He is the first and choicest, under the power of Amon. He goeth before all other. When the exorcist bath a mind to call him, let it be abroad, and let him stand on his feet all the time of action, with his cap or headdress off, for it be on, Amemon will deceive him, and call all his actions to be wrong. But as soon as the exorcist seeth Asmodai, in the shape of aforesaid, he shall call him by his name, saying, Art thou Asmodai? And he will not deny it. And by he will bow down unto the ground. He giveth the ring of virtues. He teacheth the arts of arithmetic, astronomy, geometry, and all handicrafts absolutely. He giveth true and full answers unto thy demands. He maketh one invisible. He showeth the place where treasures lie, and guardeth it. He, amongst the legions of Amemon, governeth 72 legions of spirits inferior. His seal is this, which thou must wear as a lamen upon the breast, etc. Spirit 33, Gaiap, or Gap. The 33rd spirit is Gaiap, or Gap. He is a great president and a mighty prince. He appeareth when the sun is in some of the southern signs, in a human shape, going before 4 great and mighty kings, as if he were a guide to conduct them along on their way. His office is to make men insensible or ignorant, as also in philosophy, to make them knowing, and in all the liberal sciences. He can cause love or hatred. Also he can teach thee to consecrate those things that belong to the dominion of Amemon, his king. He can deliver familiars out of the custody of other magicians, and answereth truly and perfectly of things past, present, and to come. He can carry and recarry men very speedily from one kingdom to another, and at the will and pleasure of the exorcist. He ruleth over 66 legions of spirits, and he was of the order of potentates. His seal is this, to be made and to be worn as aforesaid, etc. Spirit number 34, Furfur. The 34th spirit is Furfur. He is a great and mighty earl, appearing in the form of the hart with a fiery tail. He never speaketh truth unless he be compelled or brought up within a triangle. Being therein, he will take upon himself the form of an angel. Being bidden, he speaketh with a hoarse voice. Also, he will wittingly urge love between man and woman. He can raise lightnings and thunders, blasts and great tempestuous storms. And he giveth true answers, both to things secret and divine, if commanded. He ruleth over 26 legions of spirit, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 35, Marcusus. The 35th spirit is Marcusus, or Marcusus, from Marcusus. He is a great and mighty Marquis, appearing at first in the form of a wolf, having griffin's wings and a serpent's tail, and vomiting fire out of his mouth. But after a time, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on the shape of a man, and is a strong fighter. He was of the order of dominations. He governed 30 legions of spirits. He told his chief, who was Solomon, that after 1200 years he had hopes to return unto the 7th throne, and his seal is this, to be made and worn as a lamen, etc. Spirit 36, Stolos, or Stolos. The 36th spirit is Stolos, or Stolos. He is a great and powerful prince, appearing in the shape of a mighty raven, at first before the exorcist, but after he taketh the image of a man. He teacheth the art of astronomy and the virtues of herbs and precious stones. He governeth 26 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which is, etc. Spirit number 37, Phoenix, or Phoenix, or Phoenix. The 37th spirit is Phoenix, Phoenix, or Phoenix. He is a great Marquis, and appeareth like the bird Phoenix, having the voice of a child. He singeth many sweet notes before the exorcist, which he must not regard, but by and by he must bid him put on human shape. Then he will speak marvelously of all wonderful sciences if required. He is a poet, good and excellent, and he will be willing to perform thy requests. He hath hopes also to return to the 7th throne after 1200 years more, as he said unto Solomon. He governeth 20 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which weareth thou, etc. Spirit number 38. Halphus, or Malthus. The 38th spirit is Halphus, or Malthus, or Malthus. He is a great earl, and appeareth in the form of a stock-dove. He speaketh with a hoarse voice. His office is to build up towers, and to furnish them with ammunition and weapons, and to send men of war to places appointed. He ruleth over 26 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 39, Malthus. The 39th spirit is Malthus. He appeareth at first like a crow, but after he will put on a human shape at the request of the exorcist, and speak with a hoarse voice. He is a mighty president and powerful. He can build houses and high towers, and can bring to thy knowledge enemies' desires and thoughts, and that which they have done. He giveth good familiars, if thou makest a sacrifice unto him. He will receive it kindly and willingly, but he will deceive him that doth it. He governeth 40 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 40, Raum. The 40th spirit is Raum. He is a great earl, and appeareth at first in the form of a crow, but after the command of the exorcist he putteth on human shape. His office is to steal treasures out kings' houses, and to carry it whither he is commanded, and to destroy cities and dignities of men, and to tell all things past and what is and what will be, and to cause love between friends and foes. He was of the order of the thrones. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which wear thou as aforesaid. Spirit 41, Folklore. The 41st spirit is Folklore, or Folklore, or Furfur. He is a mighty duke and strong. He appeareth in the form of a man, with griffin's wings. His office is to slay men, and to drown them in the waters, and to overthrow ships of war. For he hath power over both winds and seas, but he will not hurt any man or thing, if he be commanded to the contrary by the exorcist. He also hath hopes to return to the 7th throne after 1,000 years. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 42, Vepar. The 42nd is Vepar, or Vethar. He is a duke great and strong, and appeareth like a mermaid. His office is to govern the waters, and to guide ships laden with arms, armor, and ammunition, etc. Thereon, at the request of the exorcist, he can cause the seas to be right stormy, and to appear full of ships. Also he maketh men to die in 3 days by putrefying wounds or sores, and causing worms to breed in them. He governeth 29 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 43, Sobnoch. The 43rd spirit, as King Solomon commanded him in the vessel of brass, is called Sobnoch, or Sobnoch. He is a marquis, mighty great and strong, appearing in the form of an armed soldier, with a lion's head, riding on a pale-colored horse. His office is to build high towers, castles, and cities, and to furnish them with armor, etc. Also he can afflict men for many days with wounds, and with the sores rotten and full of worms. He giveth good familiars at the request of the exorcist. He commandeth 50 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 44, Shan. The 44th spirit is Shax, or Shaz, or Shas, or Shan. He is a great marquis, and appeareth in the form of a stock-dove, appearing with a voice hoarse, but yet supple. His voice is to take away the sight, hearing, or understanding of any man or woman at the command of the exorcist, and to steal money out of the houses of kings, and to carry it again in 1200 years. It commanded he will fetch horses at the request of the exorcist, or any other thing, but he must first be commanded into a triangle, or else he will deceive them, and tell him many lies. He can discover all things that are hidden, and not kept by wicked spirits. He giveth good familiars, sometimes, He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 45, Vinya. The 45th spirit is Vinya, or Vinya. He is a great king and an earl, and appears in the form of a lion, riding upon a black horse and bearing a viper in his hand. His office is to discover things hidden, witches, wizards, and things present, past, and to come. He, at the command of the exorcist, will build towers, overthrow great stone walls, and make the waters rough with storms. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, which wear thou, as aforesaid, etc. The 46th spirit, Bifrons. The 46th spirit is called Bifrons, or Bifros, or Bifrons. He is an earl, and appeareth in the form of a monster. But after a while, and at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on the shape of a man. His office is to make one knowing in astrology, geometry, and other arts and sciences. He teacheth the virtues of precious stones and woods. He changeth dead bodies, and putteth them in another place. Also he lighteth seeming candles upon the graves of the dead. He hath under his command 6 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which he will own and submit unto, etc. Spirit 47, Uval, or Voile, or Voval. The 47th spirit, Uval, or Voile, or Voval, he is a duke, great, mighty, and strong, appeareth in the form of a mighty dromedary. In the first, but after a while, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on human shape, and he speaketh the Egyptian tongue, but not perfectly. His office is to procure the love of women, and to tell things past, present, and to come. He also procureth friendships between friends and foes. He was the order of the potestates, or powers. He governeth 37 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, to be made and worn before thee, etc. Spirit 48, Hagenti. The 48th spirit is Hagenti. He is a president, appearing in the form of a mighty bull with griffin's wings. This is at first, but after, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on the human shape. His office is to make men wise, and to instruct them in divers things, and also to transmute all metals into gold, and to change wine into water, and water into wine. He governeth 33 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit 49, Crochel. The 49th spirit is Crochel, or Croco. He appeareth in the form of an angel. He is a duke, great and strong, speaking something mystically of hidden things. He teacheth the art of geometry and the liberal sciences. He, at the command of the exorcist, will produce great noises like the rushings of many waters, although there be none. He warmeth waters, and discovereth baths. He was of the order of potestates, or powers. Before his fall, as he declared unto the King Solomon, he governeth 48 legions of spirits. His seal is this, the which wear thou, as aforesaid. Spirit 50, Furcus. The 50th spirit is Furcus, or Furcus. He is a knight, and appeareth in the form of a cruel old man with a long beard and a hoary head, riding upon a pale-coloured horse with a sharp weapon on his head and his hand. His office is to teach the arts of philosophy, astrology, rhetoric, logic, chiromancy, and pyromancy, in all their parts and perfectly. He hath under his power 20 legions of spirits. His seal or mark is thus made, etc. Spirit 51, Balaam. The 51st spirit is Balaam, or Balaam. He is a terrible, great, and powerful king. He appeareth with 3 heads. The first is like that of a bull, the second is like that of a man, the third is like that of a ram. He that hath the tail of a serpent and flaming eyes. He rideth upon a furious bear, and carrieth a bowshot upon his fist. He speaketh with a hoarse voice, giving true answers of things past, present, and to come. He maketh men to go invisible, and also to be witty. He governeth 40 legions of spirits. His seal is this, etc. Spirit 52, Oloces. The 52nd spirit is Oloces, or Olocus, or Olokes. He is a duke, great, mighty, and strong, appearing in the form of a soldier. Riding upon a great horse, his face is like that of a lion, very red, and having flaming eyes. His speech is hoarse and very big. His office is to teach the art of astronomy, and all the liberal sciences. He bringeth unto thee good familiars. Also he ruleth over 36 legions of spirits. His seal is this, which etc. Which etc. Spirit 53, Cameo or Caim. The 53rd spirit is Cameo or Caim. He is the great president, and appeareth in the form of the bird, calleth and a thrush and first. But afterwards he putteth on the shape of a man, carrying in his hand a sharp sword. He seemeth to answer in burning ashes or in coals of fire. He is a good disputer. His office is to give unto men the understanding of all birds, lowing of bullocks, barkings of dogs and other creatures, and also the voice of waters. He giveth true answers of things to come. He was of the orders of angels, but now ruleth over 30 legions of spirits, infernal. His seal is this, which wear thou, etc. Spirit number 54, Murmur, or Murmus. The 54th spirit is called Murmur, or Murmus, or Murmux. He is a great duke and an earl, and appeareth in the form of a warrior riding upon a griffin, with a ducal crown upon his head. There do go before him those his ministers with great trumpets sounding. His office is to teach philosophy perfectly, and to constrain souls to cease to come before the exorcist to answer those questions which he may wish to put to them, if desired. He was partly of the order of thrones, and partly of that of angels. He now ruleth 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 55, Orobus. The 55th spirit is Orobus. He is a great and mighty prince, appearing at first like a horse, but after the command of the exorcist he putteth on the image of a man. His office is to discover all things past, present, and to come, also to give dignities and prelacies, and the favor of friends and of foes. He giveth true answers of divinity, and of the creation of the world. He is very faithful unto the exorcist, and will not suffer him to be tempted of any spirit. He governeth 20 legions of spirits. His seal is this, etc. Spirit number 56, Gremory, or Gomory. The 56th spirit is Gremory, or Gomory. He is a duke strong and powerful, and appeareth in the form of a beautiful woman, with a duchess's crown tied about her waist, and riding on a great camel. His office is to tell of all things past, present, and to come, and of treasures rid, and what they lie in, and to procure the love of women, both young and old. He governeth 26 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 57, Oze, or Vozo. The 57th spirit is Ozo, Oze, or Vozo. He is a great president, and appeareth like a leopard at the first, but after a little time he putteth on the shape of a man. His office is to make one cunning in the liberal sciences, and to give true answers of divine and secret things, also to change a man into any shape that the exorcist pleaseth, so that he that is so changed will not think any other thing than that he is in verity, that creature or thing he is changed into. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 58, Amy, or Avnas. The 58th spirit is Amy, or Avnas. He is a great president, and appeareth at first in the form of a flaming fire, but after a while he putteth on the shape of a man. His office is to make one wonderful knowing in astrology and all the liberal sciences. He giveth good familiars, and can bury treasure that is kept by spirits. I'm sorry, not Bori. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 59, Oryx or Orius. The 59th spirit is Oryx or Orius. He is a great marquis, and appeareth in the form of a lion, riding upon a horse mighty and strong, with a serpent's tail. And he holdeth in his right hand 2 great serpents hissing. His office is to teach the virtues of the stars, and to know the mansions of the planets, and how to understand their virtues. He also transformeth men, and he giveth dignities, prelacies, and confirmation thereof. Also favour with friends and with foes. He doth govern 30 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 60, Vapula, or Nafula, or Vapula. The 60th spirit is Vapula, or Nafula. He is a duke, great, mighty, and strong, appearing in the form of a lion with a griffin's wings. His office is to make men knowing in all handicrafts and professions, also in philosophy and other sciences. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and his seal or character is thus made, and thou shalt wear it as foresaid, etc. Spirit number 61, Zagan. The 61st spirit is Zagan. He is a great king and president, appearing at first in the form of a bull with griffin's wings. But after a while he putteth on human shape. He maketh men witty. He can turn wine into water, and blood into wine, also water into wine. He can turn all metals into coin of the dominion that metal is of. He can even make fools wise. He governeth 33 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 62, Volak, or Volax, or Valu, or Ualak. The 62nd spirit is Volak, or Volu. He is a president mighty and great, and appeareth like a child with angel's wings, riding on a 2-headed dragon. His office is to give true answers of hidden treasures, and to tell where serpents may be seen, the which he will bring unto the exerciser without any force or strength being by his employed. He governeth 38 legions of spirits, and his seal is thus. Spirit number 63, Andras. The 63rd spirit is Andras. He is a great marquis, appearing in the form of an angel with a head like a black night raven, riding upon a strong black wolf, and having a sharp and bright sword flourished aloft in his hand. His office so discords. If the exorcist have not a care, he will slay both him and his fellows. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and this is his seal, etc. Spirit number 64, Horus, or Horus, or Havres, or Florus. The 64th spirit is Horus, or Horus, or Havres, or Florus. He is a great duke, and appeareth at first like a leopard, mighty, terrible, and strong. But after a while, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on human shape with eyes flaming and fiery, and a most terrible countenance. He giveth true answers of all things, present, past, and to come. But if he be not commanded into a triangle, he will lie in all these things, and deceive and beguile the exorcist in these things, or in such and such business. He will lastly talk of the creation of the world, and of divinity, and of how he and other spirits fell. He destroyeth and burneth up those who be the enemies of the exorcist, should he so desire it. Also he will not suffer him to be tempted by any other spirit or otherwise. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, to be worn as a lamen, etc. Spirit number 65, Andrialphus. The 65th spirit is Andrialphus. He is a mighty marquis, appearing at first in the form of a peacock, with great noises, but after a time he putteth on human shape. He can teach geometry perfectly. He maketh men very supple therein, and in all things pertaining unto mensuration or astronomy. He can transform a man into the likeness of a bird. He governeth 30 legions of infernal spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 66, Simayes, or Simayes, or Chimaris. The 66th spirit is Simayes, or Simayes, or Chimaris. He's a Marquis, mighty, great, strong, and powerful. Appearing like a valiant warrior riding upon a goodly black horse, he ruleth over all spirits in the parts of Africa. His office is to teach perfectly grammar, logic, rhetoric, and to discover things lost or hidden, and treasures. He governeth 20 legions of infernals, and his seal is thus, etc. Spirit number 67, Amdusius, or Amducius. The 67th spirit is Amdusius, or Amducius. He is a duke, great and strong, appearing at first like a unicorn. But at the request of the exorcist, he standeth before him in a human shape, causing trumpets and all manner of musical instruments to be heard. But not soon or immediately. Also he can cause trees to bend and incline according to the exorcist's will. He giveth excellent familiars. He governeth 29 legions of spirits, and his seal is this, etc. Spirit number 68, Belial. The 68th spirit is Belial. He is a mighty and a powerful king, and was created next after Lucifer. He appeareth in the form of 2 beautiful angels sitting in a chariot of fire. He speaketh with a comely voice, and declareth that he fell first from among the worthier sort, that were before Michael, and other heavenly angels. His office is to distribute presentation and senatorships, etc., and to cause favour of friends and of foes. He giveth excellent familiars, and governeth 50 legions of spirits. Note well that this King Belial must have offerings, sacrifices, and gifts presented unto him by the exorcist, or else he will not give true answers unto his demands. But then he tarrieth not 1 hour in the truth, unless he be constrained by divine power. And his seal is this, which is to be worn as aforesaid, etc. Spirit number 69, Dekarabia. The 69th spirit is Dekarabia. He appeareth in the form of a star, in a pentacle. As first, but after, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on the image of a man. His office is to discover the virtues of birds and precious stones, and to make the similitude of all kinds of birds to fly before the exorcist, singing and drinking as natural birds do. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, being himself a great Marquis, and this is his seal, which is to be worn at etc. Spirit number 70, Seer, Seer, or Seer. The 70th spirit is Seer, Seer, or Seer. He is a mighty prince and powerful under Imaiman, king of the east. He appeareth in the form of a beautiful man, riding upon a winged horse. His office is to go and to come, and to bring abundance of things to pass on a sudden, and to carry or recarry anything whither thou wouldest have it to go, or whence thou wouldest have it from. He can pass over the whole earth in a twinkling of an eye. He giveth a true relation of all sorts of theft, and of treasure hid, and of many other things. He is of an indifferent good nature, and is willing to do anything which the exorcist desireth. He governeth 26 legions of spirits, and this is his seal, to be worn, etc. Spirit number 71, Dantalion. The 71st spirit is Dantalion. He is a duke, great and mighty, appearing in the form of a man with many countenances, all men's and women's faces, and he hath a book in his right hand. His office is to teach all arts and sciences unto any, and to declare the secret counsel of any one, for he knoweth the thoughts of all men and women, and can change them at his will. He can cause love, and show the similitude of any person, and show the same by a vision. Let them be in what part of the world they will. He governeth 36 legions of spirits, and this is his seal, which wear thou, etc. And finally, the 72nd spirit, Andromalius. The 72nd spirit in the order is named Andromalius. He is an earl, great and mighty, appearing in the form of a man, holding a great serpent in his right hand. His office is to bring back both the thief and the goods which be stolen, and to discover all wickedness and underhold dealing, and to punish all thieves and other wicked people, and also to discover treasures that be hid. He ruleth over 36 legions of spirits. His seal is this, the which where thou, as aforesaid, etc. These be the 72 mighty kings and princes which King Solomon commanded into a vessel of brass, together with their legions, of whom Belial, Baleth, Asmodai, and Gaiap were chief. And if it is to be noted that Solomon did this because of their pride, for he never declared other reason why he thus bound them. And when he had thus bound them up and sealed the vessel, he by divine power did chase them all into a deep lake or hole in Babylon. And they of Babylon, wondering to see such a thing, they did then go wholly into the lake, to break the vessel open, expecting to find great store of treasure therein. But when they had broken it open, out flew the chief spirits immediately, with their legions following them, and they were all restored to their former places, except Belial, who entered into a certain image, and thence gave answers unto those who did offer sacrifices unto him, and did worship the image as their god, etc. Observations. First thou shalt know and observe the moon's age for thy working. The best days be when the moon, Luna, is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, or 14 days old, as Solomon saith, and no other days be profitable. The seals of the 72 kings are to be made in metals, the chief kings in Sol, gold, Marcusus in Luna, silver, dukes in Venus, copper, prelacies in Jupiter, tin, knights in Saturn, lead, presidents in Mercury, mercury, earls in Venus, copper, and Luna, silver, alike equal, etc. These 72 kings be under the power of Amon, Corson, Zimimai, or Ziminar, and Goap, who are the 4 great kings ruling in the 4 quarters, or cardinal points, visualization, east, west, north, and south, and are not to be called forth, except in be upon great occasion, but are to be invoked and commanded to send such or such a spirit that is under their power and rule, as it is shown in the following invocations or conjurations. And the chief kings may be bound from 9 till 12 o'clock at noon, and from 3 till sunset. Marquises may be bound from 3 in the afternoon till 9 at night, and from 9 at night till sunrise. Dukes may be bound from sunrise till noonday in clear weather. Prelates may be bound any hour of the day. Knights may from dawning of the day till sunrise, or from 4 o'clock till sunset. Presidents may be bound any time, except twilight at night, unless the king whom they are under be invocated, and counties, or earls, any hour of the day, so it be in woods, or in any other places whither men resort not, or where no noise is, etc. The classified list of the 72 chief spirits of the Goetia, according to their respective rank. Seal in gold. Kings. 1. Baal. 9. Pimen. 13. Baleth. 20. Person. 32. Asmodai. 45. Vinye. 51. Balaam. 61. Zagan. And 68. Belial. The seal in copper. Dukes. Number 2. Agatus. 6. Valphor. 8. Barbados. 11. Gusian. 15. Eligos. 16. Zapar. 18. Bathin. 19. Salos. 23. Aim. 26. Boon. 28. Berith. 29. Astaroth. 41. Focalor. 42. Vapor. 47. Voile. 49. Crocel. 52. Alosis. 54. Murmur. 56. Gremory. 60. Vapula. 64. Horus. 67. Amdusius. 71. Dentalion. The seals in tin. Princes and prelates. Number 3. Vasago. 12. Seatree. 22. Ipos, or Ipos. 33. Gaiap. 36. Stolos. 55. Orhey. 70. Seer. Seal in silver. Marquise. Number 4. Samijana. 7. Amen. 14. Lerhe. 24. Naberius. 27. Ronove. 30. Fornius. 35. Marcusus. 37. Phoenix. 43. Sabnok. 44. Shax. 59. Aureus. 63. Andrus. 65. Andreophus. 66. Simius. 69. Decarabia. Seal in Mercury. Presidents. 5. Marbas. 10. Boier. 17. Botus. 21. Marax. 25. Glazia Balas. 31. Forus. 33. Gaiap. 39. Malphus. 48. Hyagente. 53. Caim. 57. Orhey. 58. Amy. 61. Zagan. 62. Valak. Seal in copper and silver alike equal earls or counts. 17. Botus. 21. Marax. 25. Glazia Balas. 27. Renove. 34. Furfur. 38. Halphus. 40. Raum. 45. Vigne. 46. Bifrons. 72. Andromalius. The seals in lead. The Knights. Number 50. Furcus. Note: it will be remarked that several among the above spirits possesses 2 titles of different ranks. Example: 45. Vigne is both king and earl. 25. Glazia Balas is both president and earl, etc., prince and prelate, and apparently used as interchangeable terms. Probably the seals of earls should be made of iron, and those of presidents in mixture either of copper and silver or of silver and mercury, as otherwise the metal of one planet, Mars, is excluded from the list, the metals attributed to the 7 planets being to Saturn, lead, to Jupiter, tin, to Mars, iron, to Sun, gold, to Venus, copper, to Mercury, mercury, and mixtures of metals, and to Luna, silver. In a manuscript codex by Dr. Rudd, which is in the British Museum, Hebrew names of the 72 spirits are given, but it appears to me that many are manifestly incorrect in orthography. The codex in question, though beautifully written, also contains many other errors, particularly in the sigils, such as they are. These names in the Hebrew of Dr. Rudd are here shown. The Magic Circle. This is the form of the magical circle of King Solomon, the which he made that he might preserve himself therein from the malice of these evil spirits. See frontispiece figure 153. This magical circle is to be made 9 feet across, and the divine names are to be written around it, beginning at Eheye and ending at Levana or Luna. Scusa. Colors. The space between the outer and inner circles, where the serpent is coiled, with the Hebrew names written along his body, is bright deep yellow. The square in the center of the circle, where the word Master is written, is filled in with red. All names and letters are in black. In the hexagrams, the outer triangles, where the letters Adonai, Adonai, appear, are filled in with bright yellow. The centers, where the T-shaped crosses, are blue or green. In the pentagrams outside the circle, the outer triangles, where Tetragrammaton is written, are filled in bright yellow, and the centers with the T-crosses written therein are red. The coiled serpent is only shown in one private codex, the Hebrew names being in most cases simply written round in somewhat spiral arrangement within the double circle. It is to be remembered that Hebrew is always written from right to left, page 50, instead of from left to right, like ordinary European languages. The small Maltese crosses are placed to mark the conclusion of each separate set of Hebrew names. These names are those of the deity angels and the archangels allotted by the Kabbalists to each of the 9 first Sephiroth, or divine emanations. In English letters they run thus, beginning from the head of the serpent, Eheye, Kether, Metatron, Kayoth, Ha-Kadef, Rashid, Ha-Galgalim, SPM, from spear of the primum mobile. Ia, Chokmah, Ratziel, or Fanem, Mazloth, SSF, for sphere of the fixed stars, or SC, for sphere of the zodiac. Yehovah, Elohim, Bena, Zadquia, Aralim, Shabbatai, S, for spear of Saturn. El Chesed, Zachwia, Chasmalim, Zedek, S of Jupiter, cross. Elohim, Gebor, Geborah, Chamael, Seraphim, Madim, S of Mars, cross. Yehovah, Eloha, Vadayath, Tifereth, Raphael, Malachim, Shemesh, S of the sun, cross, Yehovah, Zabayoth, Netzach, Hanayel, Elohim, Noga, S of the Venus, cross, Elohim, Zabayoth, Hod, Michael, Beni, Elohim, Chochav, S of Mercury, cross, Shadael, Chai, Yesod, Gabriel, Cherubim, Levana, S of the moon, cross. The magical triangle of Solomon. This is the form of the magical triangle, into which Solomon did command the evil spirits. It is to be made at 2 feet distance from the magical circle, and it is 3 feet across. See frontispiece figure 154. Note that this triangle is to be placed towards the quarter, whereunto the spirit belongeth, and the base of the triangle is to be nearest unto the circle. The apex pointing in the direction of the quarter of the spirit. Observe thou also the moon in thy working, as aforesaid, etc. And a fexaton is sometimes written, and a phenaton. Colors: triangle, outlined in black. Name of Michael, black on white ground. The 3 names without the triangle written in the red. Circle and center entirely filled in the dark green. The hexagram of Solomon. This is the form of the hexagram of Solomon, the figure whereof is to be made on parchment of a calf skin, and worn at the skirt of thy white vestment, and covered with a cloth of fine linen, with and pure, white and pure, the which is to be shown unto the spirits when they do appear, so that they be compelled to take human shape upon them, and be obedient. Colors: circle, hexagon, and T-cross. In center, outlined in black, Maltese crosses, black. The 5 exterior triangles of the hexagram, where tetragrammaton is written, are filled in with bright yellow. The T-crosses in center is red, with the 3 little squares wherein black. The lower exterior triangle, where the sigil is drawn in black, is left white. The words tetragrammaton and tau are in black letters, and agla with alpha and omega in red letters. The pentagram of Solomon. This is the form of the pentagram of Solomon, the figure whereof to be made in sol or luna, gold or silver, and worn upon the breast, having the seal of the spirit required upon the other side thereof. It is to preserve thee from danger, and also to command the spirits by. And the colors: circle and pentagram outlined in black, names and sigils, within pentagram, black also, tetragrammaton, and red letters, ground of center of pentagram, where Solozin is written, green. External angles of pentagram, where Abdia, Balaton, Halitza, etc. are written in blue. The magic ring, or disc of Solomon. This is the form of the magic ring, or rather disc of Solomon, the figure whereof is to be made in gold or silver. It is to be held before the face of the exorcist, to preserve him from the stinking, sulphurous fumes and flaming breath of the evil spirits. The colors: bright yellow, letters black. The vessel of brass. This is the form of vessel of brass wherein King Solomon did shut up the evil spirits, etc. See figures 158 and 159. Somewhat different forms are given in the various codices. The seal in figure 160 was made in brass to cover this vessel with, at the top, this history of the genie shut up in the brazen vessel by King Solomon recalls the story of the fisherman and the genie in the Arabian Nights. In the tale, however, there was only one genie, shut up in a vessel of yellow brass, the which was covered at the top with a leaden seal. This genie tells the fisherman that his name is Sakar, or Sakar. Color: bronze, letters black on a red band. The secret seal of Solomon. This is the form of the secret seal of Solomon, wherewith he did bind and seal up the aforesaid spirits with their legions in the vessel of brass. The seal is to be made by one that is clean both inwardly and outwardly, and that hath not defiled himself by any woman in the space of a month, but hath in prayer and fasting desired of God to forgive him all his sins, etc. It is to be made on the day of Mars or Saturn, Tuesday or Saturday, at night at 12 o'clock, and written upon virgin parchment with the blood of a black cock that never trode hen. Note that on this night the moon must be increasing in light, example, going from new to full, and in the zodiacal sign of Virgo. And when the seal is so made, thou shalt perfume it with alum, raisins dried in the sun, dates, cedar, and lignum aloes. Also, by this seal, King Solomon did command all the aforesaid spirits in the vessel of brass, and did seal it up with his same seal. He by it gained the love of all manner of persons, and overcame in battle, for neither weapons, nor fire, nor water could hurt him. And this privy seal was made to cover the vessel at the top withal, etc. Note, figures 162 to 174 inclusive are interesting as showing a marked resemblance to the central design of the secret seal. It will be observed that the evident desire is to represent hieroglyphically a person raising his or her hands in adoration. Nearly all are stones, sepulchre, steels, and the execution of them is rough and primitive in the extreme. Most are in the Musée de l'Ouvre at Paris. Figures 162 and 163 are from the district of Constantine, and show a figure raising his arms in adoration. In figure 164, also from Constantine, the person bears a palm branch in the right hand. Above is a hieroglyphic representing either the lunar disk or the sun, and in the heavens, but more probably the former. Figure 165 is a more complicated stele. Above is the symbol already mentioned, then comes the sign of the pentagram, represented by a 5-pointed star, towards which the person raises his or her hands. Besides the latter is a rude form of caduceus. A brief inscription follows in the Punic character. The Punic or Carthaginian language is usually considered to have been a dialect of Phoenician, and Carthage was of course a colony of Tyre. Beneath the tunic inscription is a horse's head, in better drawing than the sculpture of the rest of the stele, which would seem to imply that the rudeness of the representation of the human figure is intentional. This and the following stele are also from Constantine. In figure 166, again, the horse is best delineated by far. In addition to the other symbols, there is either a hand or a foot, for it is almost impossible to distinguish which at the head of the stele, followed by an egg and tongue molding. The figure of the person with the arms raised is treated as a pure hieroglyphic and is placed between two rude caducei. The lunar or solar symbol follows. Figure 167, also from Constantine, shows the last mentioned symbol above. The figure with the arms raised is simply a hieroglyph and is placed between an arm and hand on the one side and a rude caduceus on the other. Figure 168 shows the person holding a rude caduceus in the right hand and standing above a dolphin. This latter, as in the case of the horse in 165 and 166, is by far the best delineated. Figure 169, this also being from Constantine, shows the usual human hieroglyph between a caduceus and a crescent. Figure 170 is from the site of ancient Carthage. It is very rough in workmanship, and the designs are mere scratchings on the stone. The ensemble has the effect of an evil sigil. Figure 171 is also from the Carthage, and the various symbols appear to have become compressed into a synthesized in the form of a peculiarly evil-looking caduceus. Figure 172 is from the decoration of a sepulchral urn found at Oldenburg in Germany. It is remarkable as showing the same hieroglyphic human form with the crescent above. The latter in the secret seal of Solomon has a flattened top and is therefore more like a bowl, and is placed across the hieroglyph. Figure 173 is an Egyptian design which would show an analogy between the symbol and the idea of the force of the creation. Figure 174 is a stele from Phoenicia, somewhat similar to the others, except that the rudimentary caducei in figures 166 and 170 are here replaced by two roughly drawn Ionic columns. These last three designs are taken from the work of the Cavalier Émile Solly Colbert de Beaulieu on the Langue Sacrée. In figure 175 is given the seal of the spirit Halahel. This spirit is said to be under the rule of Bile, and to be of a mixed nature, partly good and partly evil, like the spirits of Theurgia, Goetia, which follow in the second book of the Lemigeddon. The other magical requisites. The other magical requisites are a scepter, a sword, a mitre, a cap, a long white robe of linen, and other garments for the purpose. Also a girdle of lion skin, 3 inches broad, with all the names written about it, which he round the outmost part of the magical circle. Also perfumes, and a chafing dish of charcoal kindled to put the fumes on, to smoke or perfume the place appointed for action. Also anointing oil, to anoint thy temples and thine eyes with, and fair water to wash thyself in. And in so doing, thou shalt say, as David said, The adoration of the bath. Thou shalt purge me with hyssop, O Lord, and I shall be clean. Thou shalt wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. And at the putting on my garments thou shalt say, The adoration at the indoing of the vestments. By the figurative mystery of these holy vestures, or of his holy vestment, I will clothe me with the armoire, or armor of salvation, in the strength of the Most High, Anchor, Amacor, Amides, Theodinius, Anator, and that my desired and may be effected through thy strength, O Adonai, unto whom the praise and glory will forever and ever belong. Amen. After thou hast so done, make prayers unto God according unto thy work, as Solomon hath commanded. The conjuration to call forth any of the aforesaid spirits. I do invocate and conjure thee, O Spirit, and being with power armed from the supreme majesty, I do strongly command thee by Berelensis, Baldachiensis, Palmachia, and Apologia, Sedis, by the most powerful princes, genii, Ligadai, and ministers of the Tartarian abode, and by the chief prince of the seat of Apologia, in the 9th legion, I do invoke thee, an invocation conjure thee, and being armed with power from the supreme majesty, I do strongly command thee, by him who spake and it was done, and unto whom all creatures be obedient. Also I, being made after the image of God, endued with the power from God, and created according unto his will, do exercise thee by that most mighty and powerful name of God, El, strong and powerful, O thou Spirit. And I command thee, and him who spake the word, and his fiat was accomplished, and by all the names of God, also by the names Adonai, El, Elohim, Elohe, Eheye, Asher, Eheye, Zabayoth, Elion, Iyah, Tetragrammaton, Shaddai, Lord God Most High, I do exercise thee, and do powerfully command thee, O thou Spirit, that thou dost forthwith appear unto me, here before this circle in a fair human shape, without any deformity or tortuosity. And by this ineffable name, Tetragrammaton, Jehovah, do I command thee, and the which, being heard, the elements are overthrown, the air is shaken, the sea runneth back, the fire is quenched, the earth trembleth, and all the hosts of the celestials, terrestrials, and infernals do tremble together, and are troubled and confounded. Wherefore come thou, O Spirit, forthwith and without delay, from any or all parts of the world, wherever thou mayest be, and make rational answers unto all things that I shall demand of thee. Come thou peaceably, visibly, and affably, now and without delay, manifesting that which I shall desire. For thou art conjured by the name of the living and the true God, Heliorin. Wherefore fulfill thou my commands, and persist thou therein unto the end, and according unto mine interest, visibly and affably, speaking unto me with a voice clear and intelligible, without any ambiguity. Repeat this conjuration as often as thou pleasest, and if the Spirit come not yet, saith as follows. Also wanted to mention that every time I say Spirit, I leave a space. That space is where you put the Spirit's name when you're doing this conjuration. The second conjuration. I do invocate, conjure, and command thee, O thou Spirit. to appear and to show thyself visibly unto me before this circle in fair and comely shape, without any deformity or tortuosity, by the name and in the name Ea and Val, which Adam heard and spake, and by the name of God Agla, which Lot heard and was saved with his family, and by the name Eot, which Jacob heard from the angel wrestling with him, and was delivered from the hand of Esau his brother, and by the name Anaphexaton, which Aaron heard and spake and was made wise, and by the name Zabaoth, which Moses named, and all the rivers were turned into blood, and by the name Esher, Eheye, Oriston, which Moses named, and all the rivers brought forth frogs, and they ascended into the houses, destroying all things, and by the name Elion, which Moses named, and there was great hail, such as had not been since the beginning of the world, and by the name Adonai, which Moses named, and there came up locusts, which appeared upon the whole land, and devoured all which the hail had left, and by the name Shema Amatiyah, which Joshua called upon, and the sun stayed his course, and by the name Alpha and Omega, which Daniel named, and destroyed Bel, and slew the dragon, and in the name Emmanuel, which the three children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, sang in the midst of the fiery furnace, and were delivered, and by the name Hagios, and the seal of Adonai, and by Ichshiros, Athanatos, Paraskletos, and by Otheos, Iktros, Athanatos, and by these three secret names, Agla, On, Tetragrammaton, do I adjure and constrain thee, and by these names, and by all the other names of the living and the true God, the Lord Almighty, I do exercise and command thee, O Spirit, even by him who spake the word, and it was done, and to whom all creatures are obedient, and by the dreadful judgments of God, and by the uncertain sea of glass, which is before the divine majesty, mighty and powerful, by the four beasts before the throne having eyes, before and behind, by the fire round about the throne, by the holy angels of heaven, and by the mighty wisdom of God, I do potently exercise thee, that thou appearest here before this circle, to fulfill my will in all things, which shall seem good unto me, by the seal of Baldachia, and by his name Primiamatan, which Moses named, and the earth opened, and did swallow up Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Wherefore thou shalt make faithful answers unto all my demands, O Spirit, and shalt perform all my desires, so far as in thine office thou art capable hereof. Wherefore come thou visibly, peaceably, and affably, now without delay, to manifest that which I desire, speaking with a clear and perfect voice, intelligibly, and to mine understanding. If he come not yet, and the rehearsal of these two first conjurations, but without doubt he will, Seanos followeth, it being a constraint. Be sure that you say the Spirit's name after I say Spirit. The constraint. I do conjure thee, O thou Spirit, by all the most glorious and efficacious names of the most great and incomprehensible Lord God of hosts, that thou comest quickly and without delay from all parts and places of the earth and world, wherever thou mayest be, to make rational answers unto my demands, and that visibly and affably, speaking with a voice intelligible unto mine understanding as aforesaid, I conjure and constrain thee, O thou Spirit, by all the names aforesaid, and in addition by these 7 great names, wherewith Solomon and wise bound thee and thy companions in a vessel of brass, Adonai, Prei, or Prerai, Tetragrammaton, Anaphexaton, or Anaphenaton, Inasenaphatol, or Inasenafatal, Pathtuman, or Pathatuman, and Itimon, that thou appearest here before this circle to fulfill my will in all things that seem good unto me. And if thou be still so disobedient, and refusest still to come, I will in the power, and by the power of the name of the supreme and everlasting Lord God, who created both thee and me, and all the world in 6 days, and what is contained therein, Saraya, and by the power of this name, Premiumatan, which commandeth the whole host of heaven, curse thee, and deprive thee of thine office, joy, and place, and bind thee in the depths of the bottomless pit or abyss, there to remain unto the day of the last judgment, and I will bind thee in the eternal fire, and into the lake of flame and of brimstone, unless thou comest quickly and appeareth here before the circle to do my will. Therefore come thou, and by the holy names Adonai, Zabayoth, Adonai, Amayoran, come thou, for it is Adonai who commandeth thee. If thou hast come thus far, and yet he appeareth not, thou mayest be sure that he is sent unto some other place by his king, and cannot come. And if it be so, invocate the king as here followeth, to send him. But if he do not come still, then thou mayest be sure that he is bound in chains in hell, and that he is not in the custody of his king. If so, and thou still hast a desire to call him even from thence, thou must rehearse the general curse, which is called the spirit's chain. Here followeth therefore the invocation of the king. The invocation of the king. O thou great, powerful, and mighty King Amimon, who bearest rule by the power of the supreme god El over all spirits, both superior and inferior, of the infernal orders of the dominion of the East, I do invocate and command thee by the special and true name of God, and by that God that thou worshippest, and by the seal of the creation, and by the most mighty and powerful name of God, Jehovah, Tetragrammaton, who cast thee out of heaven with all other infernal spirits, and by all the most powerful and great names of God, who created heaven, and earth, and hell, and all things in them contained, and by their power and virtue, and by the name Premiumaton, who commandeth the whole host of heaven, that thou mayest cause and force and compel the spirit to come out unto me here before the circle in a fair and comely shape, without harm unto me or unto any other creature, to answer truly and faithfully unto all my requests, so that I may accomplish my will and desire in knowing or obtaining any matter or thing which by office thou knowest is proper for him to perform or accomplish through the power of God, El, who created and doth dispose of all things, both celestial, aerial, terrestrial, and infernal. After thou shalt have invocated the king in his manner twice or thrice over, then conjure the spirit thou wouldst call forth by the aforesaid conjurations, rehearsing them several times together, and he will come without doubt, if not at the first or second time of rehearsing. But if he do not come, add the spirit's chain unto the end of the aforesaid conjurations, and he will be forced to come, even if he be bound in chains, for the chains must break off from him, and he will be at liberty. The general curse, called the spirit's chain, against all spirits that rebel. O thou wicked and disobedient spirit, because thou hast rebelled and hast not obeyed nor regarded my words, which I have rehearsed, they being all glorious and incomprehensible names of the true God, the maker and creator of thee and of me and of all the world, I do, by the power of these names, the which no creature is able to resist, curse thee into the depth of the bottomless abyss, there to remain unto the day of doom in chains, and in fire and brimstone, unquenchable, unless thou forthwith appear here before this circle in this triangle to do my will. And therefore come thou quickly and peaceably, and in by these names of God, Adonai, Zabayoth, Adonai, Amoran, come thou, for it is the King of kings, even Adonai, who commandeth thee. When thou shalt have rehearsed thus far, but still he cometh not, then write thou his seal on a parchment, put thou it unto a strong black box with brimstone, asafoetida, and such like things that bear a stinking smell, and then bind the box up round with an iron wire, and bang it upon the point of thy sword, and hold it over the fire of charcoal, and say as followeth, unto the fire first, it being placed towards that quarter whence the spirit is to come. The conjuration of the fire. I conjure thee, O fire, by him who made thee and all other creatures for good in the world, that thou torment, burn, and consume this spirit. For everlasting I condemn thee, thou spirit, because thou art disobedient and obeyest not my commandment, nor keepest the precepts of the Lord thy God, neither wilt thou obey me nor mine invocations, having thereby called thee forth, one who am the servant of the Most High and Imperial Lord, a God of hosts, Jehovah, I who am dignified and fortified by his celestial power, and permission, and yet thou comest not to answer these my propositions, here made unto thee, for the which thine awareness, averseness, and the contempt thou art guilty of great disobedience and rebellion, and therefore shall I excommunicate thee, and destroy thy name and seal, the which I have enclosed in this box, and shall burn thee in the immortal fire, and bury thee in immortal oblivion, unless thou immediately come and appear visibly and affably, friendly and courteously here unto me before the circle in this triangle, in a form comely and fair, and in no wise terrible, hurtful, or frightful to me, or any other creature whatsoever upon the face of earth. And thou shalt make rational answers unto my requests, and perform all my desires in all things that I shall make unto thee. And if he come not even yet, thou shalt say as followeth. The Greater Curse. Now, O thou spirit, since thou art still pernicious and disobedient, and wilt not appear unto me to answer unto such things as I would have desired of thee, or would have been satisfied in, I do in the name and by the power and dignity of the omnipresent and immortal God of hosts, Jehovah Tetragrammaton, the only creator of heaven and earth and hell and all that is therein, who is the marvelous disposer of all things, both visible and invisible, curse thee and deprive thee of all thine office, joy and place, and I do bind thee in the depths of the bottomless abyss, there to remain until the day of judgment. I say into the lake of fire and brimstone, which is prepared for all rebellious, disobedient, obstinate, and pernicious spirits, let all the company of heaven curse thee. Let the sun, moon, and all the stars curse thee. Let the light and all the hosts of heaven curse thee into the fire unquenchable, and into the torments unspeakable. And as thy name and seal contained in this box, chained and bound up, shall be choken in sulphurous, stinking substances, and burned in this material fire, so in the name of Jehovah, and by the power and dignity of these three names, Tetragrammaton, Anafaxaton, and Primiamaton, I do cast thee, O thou wicked and disobedient spirit, into the lake of fire which is prepared for the damned and accursed spirits, and there to remain until the day of doom, and never more to be remembered before the face of God, who shall come to judge the quick and the dead and the world by fire. Then the exorcist must put the box into the fire, and by the spirit will come. But as soon as he is come, quench the fire that the box is in, and make a sweet perfume, and give him welcome, and a kind entertainment, showing unto him the pentacle that is at tile bottom of your vesture, covered with a linen cloth, saying, The address unto the spirit upon his coming. Behold thy confusion if thou refusest to be obedient. Behold the pentacle of Solomon, which I have brought here before thy presence. Behold the person of the exorcist in the midst of the exorcism, him who is armed by God, and without fear, him who potently invoketh thee, and calleth thee forth unto appearance, even him thy master, who is called Octinimus. Wherefore make rational answer unto my demands, and prepare to be obedient unto thy master, and to the name of the Lord, Bathalor Vathat, rushing upon Abrach, Abeor coming upon Abarar. Then he or they will be obedient, and bid thee ask what thou wilt. For he or they be subjected by God to fulfill our desires and commands. And when he or they shall have appeared, and showed himself or themselves, humble and meek, then shalt thou rehearse the welcome unto the Spirit. Welcome, Spirit, O most noble King or kings. I say thou art welcome unto me, because I have called thee through him who has created heaven, and earth, and hell, and all that is them in them contained, and because also thou hast obeyed. By that same power by the which I have called thee forth, I bind thee that thou remain affably and visibly here before the circle, or before the circle and in the triangle, so constant as so long as I shall have occasion for thy presence, and not to depart without my license, until thou hast duly and faithfully performed my will without any falsity. Then, standing in the midst of the circle, thou shalt stretch forth thine hand in a gesture of command, and say, By time, pentacle of Solomon, have I called thee. Give unto me a true answer. Then let the exorcist state his desires and requests, and when the evocation is finished, thou shalt license the spirit to depart, as so. The license to depart. O thou spirit, because thou hast diligently answered unto my demands, and hast been very ready and willing to come at my call, I do here license thee to depart unto thy proper place, without causing harm or danger unto man or beast. Depart then, I say, and be thou very ready to come at my call, being duly exorcised and conjured by the sacred rites of magic. I charge thee to withdraw peaceably and quietly, and the peace of God be ever continued between thee and me. Amen. After thou hast given the spirit license to depart, thou art not to go out of the circle until he or they be gone, and until thou shalt have made prayers and rendered thanks unto God for the great blessings he hath bestowed upon thee in granting thy desires, and delivering thee from all the malice of the enemy, the devil. Also note, thou mayest command these spirits into the vessel of brass, in the same manner as thou dost into the triangle, by saying that thou dost forthwith appear before the circle in this vessel of brass, in a fair and comely shape, etc., as hath been shown in the foregoing conjurations. Explanations of certain names used in this book, Lemigeddon. Eheye, Cather, Almighty God, whose dwelling is in the highest heavens. Hayoth, the great King of heaven, and all the powers therein. Methratan, and all the holy hosts of angels and archangels. Reshith, hear the prayers of thy servant, who putteth his trust in thee. Hagalgalim, let thy holy angels be commanded to assist me at this time and at all times. Jehovah, God Almighty, God Omnipotent, hear my prayer. Hadana, command thy holy angels above the fixed stars. Ophanim, to be assisting and aiding thy servant. Yophiel, that I may command all spirits of air, water, fire, earth, and hell. Masloth, so that it may tend unto thy glory and unto the good of man. Jehovah, God Almighty, God Omnipotent, hear my prayer. Elohim, God with us, God be always present with us. Benah, strengthen us and support us, both now and forever. Aralim, and these are undertakings which we perform but as instruments in thy hands. Zabatai, should be Shabbatai, in the hands of thee, the great God of Sabaoth. Hesed, should be Chesed, thou, great God, governor and creator of the planets and of the holy host of heaven. Hasmalim, should be Chasmalim, command them by thine almighty power. Zalez, should be Zedek, to be now present and assisting to us, the poor servants, both now and forever. Elohim Gebor, should be Elohim Gebor, most almighty and eternal and ever-living Lord God. Seraphim, command thy seraphim. Chamael Madim, to attend on us now at this time, to assist us, and to defend us from all perils and dangers. Eloha, O Almighty God, be present with us both now and forever. Tetragrammaton, and let thine almighty power and presence ever guard and protect us now and forever. Raphael, let thy holy angel Raphael wait upon us at this present and forever. Shemis, or Shemesh, to assist us in these or our undertakings. Jehovah, God Almighty, God Omnipotent, hear my prayer. Sabaoth, thou greatest God of Sabaoth. Netzach, or Netzach, all-seeing God. Elohim, God be present with us, and let thy presence be now and always present with us. Hanael, let thy holy angel Hanael come and minister unto us at this present. Sabaoth, O thou great God of Sabaoth, be present with us at this time and forever. Hodben, should be Hod, simply. Let thine almighty power defend us and protect us, both now and forever. Mikael, let Mikael, who is under thee, general of thy heavenly hosts. Kokab, Come and expel all evil and danger from us, both now and forever. Sadai, thou great God of all wisdom and knowledge. Yesal, should be Yesod. Instruct thy poor and most humble servant. Cherubim, by the holy Cherubim. Gabriel, by thy holy angel Gabriel, who is the author and messenger of good tidings. Levana, direct and support us at this present and forever. The explanation of the two triangles in the parchment. Alpha and Omega, thou, O great God, who art the beginning and the end. Tetragrammaton, thou God of almighty power, be ever present with us to guard and protect us, and let thy Holy Spirit and presence be now and always with us. Saluzen, I command thee, thou Spirit, of whatsoever region thou art, to come unto this circle. Eliza, and appear in human shape, Bellator, or Balathan, and speak unto us audibly in our mother tongue, Bolonoi, or Bologna, and show and discover unto us all treasure that thou knowest of, or that is thy keeping, and deliver it unto us quietly. Halali, Hra, and answer all such questions as we may demand without any defect now at this time. Evidently meaning both the hexagram and the pentagram of Solomon. An explanation of Solomon's triangle. Anaphexton, thou great God of all the heavenly host. Premiamaton, thou who art the first and last, let all spirits be subject unto us, and let the spirit be bound in this triangle, which disturbs this place. Michael, by the holy angel Michael, until I shall discharge him. Here endeth the first book of the Lemigeddon, which is called the Goetia. Conjurations. Preamble. Ye say conjurations of ye books Goetia and ye Lemigeddon, which Solomon ye king did give unto Lemuel, his sonne, render into ye magical or angelic language by our illustrious and ever glorious frater, ye wise perdurable, that mighty chief of ye Rosicross fraternity, now sepulchred in ye vault of ye Collegium SS, and so may we do Allah. At ye beds of art, aspergis me domine hysopo et mundabor, lavabis me et super nivem dielbabor. Ate indulge ye holy vestures. In the mystery of these vestures of the holy ones, I gird up my power in the girdles of righteousness and truth in the power of the Most High. Ancor, Amacor, Amides, Theodonius, Anator, let be my power. Let it endure forever in the power of Adonai, to whom the praise and the glory shall be, whose end cannot be. Ye first conjuration, I invoke and move thee, O thou Spirit, and being exalted above ye in the power of the Most High, I say unto thee, Obey, in the name Beralnensis, Beldachiensis, Palmachia, and Apologia, Sedis, and of the mighty ones who govern spirits Liquidae, and ministers of the house of death, and by the chief prince of the seat of Apologia, in the 9th legion, I do invoke thee, and by invoking conjure thee, and being exalted above ye in the power of thee, Most High, I say unto thee, Obey, in the name of him who spake it was, to whom all creatures and things obey. Moreover I, whom God made in the likeness of God, who is the Creator according to his living breath, stir thee up in the name which is the voice of wonder of the mighty God, El, strong and unspeakable, O thou Spirit. And I say to thee, Obey in the name of him who spake and it was, and in every one of ye, O ye names of God. Moreover, in the names Adonai, El, Elohim, Elohei, Eheye, Esher, Eheye, Zabayoth, Elyon, Yah. And in our strength I say, Obey, O Spirit. Appear unto his servants in a moment before the circle in the likeness of man, and visit me in peace. And in the ineffable name Tetragrammaton, Jehovah, I say, Obey. whose mighty sound being exalted in power, the pillars are divided, the winds of the firmament groan aloud, the fire burns not, the earth moves in earthquakes, and all things of the house of the heaven, and earth and the dwelling place of darkness are as earthquakes, and are in torment, and are confounded in thunder. Come forth, O Spirit! In a moment let thy dwelling place be empty. Apply unto us the secret of the truth, and obey my power. Come forth, visit us in peace. Appear unto my eyes, be friendly. Obey the living breath. For I stir thee up in the name of the God of truth, who liveth forever. Heliorin, obey the living breath. Therefore continually unto the end, as my thoughts appear to my eyes. Therefore be friendly, speaking the secrets of truth in voice and in understanding. Ye secund conjuration. I invoke thee, and move thee, and stir thee, O bold spirit. Appear unto my eyes before the circle in the likeness of a man, in the names and by the name Ea and Va, which Adam spake, and in the name of God Agla, which Lot spake, and it was as pleasant deliverers unto him and his house, and in the name Yoth, which Jacob spake in the voice of the holy ones who cast him down, and it was also as pleasant deliverers in the anger of his brother, and in the name Anaphaxaton, which Aaron spake, and it was at the secret wisdom, and in the name Zabaoth, which Moshe spake, and all things of water were as blood, and in the name of Eshereheye Oriston, which Moshe spake, and all waters were bringing forth creatures who waxed strong, which lifted up unto the houses, which destroy all things, and in the name of Elion, which Moshe spake. And it was as stones from the firmament of wrath, such as was not in the ages of time, the beginning of the earth, and in the name of Adonai, which Moshe spake, and there appeareth creatures of earth, who destroyed what the big stones did not, and in the name Schema Amathia, which Joshua invoked, and the sun remained over ye, O ye hills, the seats of Gibeon, and in the names Alpha and Omega, which Daniel spake, and destroyed Bel and the dragon, and in the name Emmanuel, which the sons of God sang praises in the midst of the burning plain, and flourished in the conquest, and in the name Hagios, and the throne of Adonai, and in Ischiorios, Athanatos Parakletios, and in Theos Ictros Athanatos, and in these names of secret truth Agla on Tetragrammaton do I invoke and move thee, and in these names and all things that are the names of the God of secret truth, who liveth forever, the all-powerful, I invoke to stir thee up, O Spirit, even by him who spake it was, to whom all creatures are obedient, and in the extreme justice and anger of God, and by the veil that is before the glory of God mighty, and by the creatures of living breath before the throne, whose eyes are east and west, by the fire in the fire of just glory, to the throne, by the holy ones of heaven, and by the secret wisdom of God, I, exalted in power, stir thee up, appear before this circle, obey in all things that I say, in the seal Basdathia, Baldachia, and in this name Premiamatan, which Moshe spake, and the earth was divided, and Korah, Dathan, and Abraham fell in the depth. Therefore obey in all things, O Spirit. Obey thy creation. Come thou forth, appear unto my eyes, visit us in peace, be friendly, come forth in the 24th of a movement. Obey my power, speaking the secrets of truth in voice and in understanding. Ye constraint, I stir thee up, O Spirit, in all things that are the names of glory and power of God, the Great One, who is greater than understanding. Adonai Yohevave, Sabaoth, come forth in the 24th of a moment. Let thy dwelling place be empty. Apply thyself unto the secret truth, and obey my power. Appear unto my eyes, visit us in peace, speaking the secrets of truth in voice and understanding. I stir thee up and move thee, O Spirit. In all the names that I have said, and I add these on, and 6 names wherein Solomon, the Lord of the secret wisdom, placed yourselves, spirits of wrath, in a vessel. Adonai, Praiai, Tetragrammaton, Anaphaxaton, and Esephan Fatoal, Patoman, and Etamon. Appear before the circle, obey in all things my power, and as thou art he that obeys not and comes not, I shall be in thy power. O God most high, that liveth forever, who is the creator of all things in 6 days,
Saraye, and in my power, in the name of Primiomaton that ruleth over the palaces of heaven, curse thee and destroy thy seat, joy and power, and I bind thee up in the depth of Abaddon, to remain until the day of judgment whose and cannot be. And I bind thee in the fire of sulphur, mingled with poison in the seas of fire and sulphur. Come forth, therefore, obey my power, and appear before this circle. Therefore come forth in the name of the Holy One, Zabaoth Adonai Amayaran, come, and for I am Adonai, who stir thee up. Ye potent invocation of his king, O thou greatest powerful governor Amaman, who reigneth exalted in the power of the only El above all spirits in the kingdoms of the east, south, west, north, I invoke and move thee in the name of the true God, and in God whom thou worshippest, and in the seal of thy creation, and in the mighty names of God. Yohevove Tetragrammaton, who cast thee down from heaven, thou and the spirits of the darkness, in all the names of the mighty God, who is the creator of heaven and earth, and the dwelling of darkness, and all things, and in their power and brightness, and in the name Primiomaton, who reigns over the palaces of heaven, bringing forth, I say, the Spirit. Bring him forth in the 24th of the moment. Let his dwelling be empty until he visits us in peace, speaking the secrets of truth, until he obey my power, and his creation, the power of God, El, who is the creator and doth dispose of all things, heaven, firmament, earth, and the dwelling of the darkness. Ye general curse, except ye spirits, Cain, against all spirits it rebel. O thou wickedest spirit that obeyeth not, obey, because I made a law and invoke the names of the glorious and ineffable God of truth, the creator of all, and thou obeyest not the almighty sounds that I make? Therefore I curse thee in the depth of Abaddon, to remain until the day of judgment, in torment in the fire and the sulphur without end, until thou appear before our will and obey my power. Come, therefore, in the 24th of a moment, before the circle, in the triangle, in the name and by the name of God, Adonai, Zabaoth, Adonai, Amarayoran, come, come, come! For it is the Lord of Lords, Adonai, that stirreth thee up. Ye conjuration of ye fire, I stir thee up, O thou fire, in him who is thy creator and of all creatures. Torment, burn, destroy the spirit. Always who end cannot be. I judge thee in judgment and in extreme justice, O spirit, because thou art he that obeyeth not my power, and obeyeth not that law which the Lord God made, and obeyeth not the mighty sounds and the living breath which I invoke, which I send. Come forth, I, who am the servant of the game, most high, governor, Lord God powerful, Yohevave. I, who am exalted in power, and am mighty, and is a power above ye, O thou who comest not, giving obedience and faith to him that liveth and triumpheth. Therefore I say, the judgment, I curse thee and destroyeth the name and the seal which I have placed in the dwelling of poison, and I burn thee in fire hose, and cannot be, and I cast thee down unto the seas of torment, out of which thou shalt not rise until thou come to my eyes. Visit me in peace, be friendly before the circle and the triangle, in the 24th of a moment, in the likeness of a man, not unto the terror of the sons of men, the creatures of all things on the face of the earth. Obey my power like reasoning creatures, obey the living breath, the law which I speak. Ye greater curse, hearken to me, O ye heavens, O thou spirit, because thou art the disobedient one who is wicked, and appearest not, speaking the secrets of truth according to the living breath. I, exalted in the power of God, the all-powerful, the center of the circle, powerful God who liveth, whose end cannot be, Yohevove, Tetragrammaton, the only creator of heaven, earth and dwelling of darkness, and all that is in their palaces, who disposeth in the secret wisdom of all things, in darkness and in light, curse thee, and cast thee down, and destroy thy seat, joy and power, and I bind thee in the depths of Abaddon, to remain until the day of judgment, whose and cannot be, I say, unto the seas of the fire and sulphur, which I have prepared for the wicked spirits that obey not, the sons of iniquity. Let the company of heaven curse thee. Let the sun, moon, all the stars curse thee. Let the light and all the holy ones of heaven curse thee, unto the burning flame that liveth forever, and unto the torment unspeakable. And even as thy name and seal which I have put in this dwelling of poison shall be in the torment among creatures of sulphur and bitter sting, burning in fire of earth, in them Yohevave, and exalted in power in these three names, Tetragrammaton and Aphaxaton Premiumaton, I cast thee down, O wicked spirit, unto the seas of fire and sulphur, which are prepared for the wicked spirits that obey not, the sons of iniquity, to remain until the day of judgment. Let the mercies of God forget thee. Let the face of God forget, the face of who will not see light. Let God forget. I say that shall be the balance of justice over the sons of living breath and death and the world by fire. Ye address unto the ye coming spirits on his coming. Behold, I confound thee, as thou art he that obeys not. Behold the mysteries of the seal of Solomon, which I bring forth unto thy power and presence. Behold the Creator, the centre of the circle of the living breath, he that is exalted in the power of God, and shall not see unto the terror. He that powerfully invoketh and stirreth thee up unto the visible appearance. He, the Lord of thy governments, whose name is called Octinimus. Obey therefore my power as a reasoning creature, in the name of the Lord. Ye welcome unto ye spirit dignity. I am he that is looking with gladness upon thee, O thou spirit, beautiful and praiseworthy. With gladness I say, because thou art called in him who is creator of heaven and earth and the dwelling of darkness, and all things that are in their palaces, and because thou art the servant of obedience. In these the power by which thou art obedient to the living breath, I bind thee to remain visible to our eyes in power and presence, as the servant of fealty before the circle, until I say, descend unto thy dwelling, until the living breath of the voice of the Lord is according to the law which shall be given unto thee. By the seal of the secret wisdom of Solomon thou art called. Obey the mighty sounds, obey the living breath and the voice of the Lord. Follows ye charge. Ye license to ye spirit, eat, ye may depart. O thou spirit, because thou art the servant of fealty and obedience, and because thou art he that obeyeth by power and thy creation, therefore I say, descend unto thy dwelling. Obey the law which I have made, without terror to the sons of men, creatures, all things upon the surface of the earth. Descend therefore, I say, and be thou as stewards of time. Come forth in a moment, even as servants that hearken to the voice of the Lord, in the moment in which I invoke thee, and stir thee up, and move thee in the mysteries of the secret wisdom of the Creator. Descend unto thy dwelling, place and pleasure. Let there be the mercies of God upon thee. Be friendly and continuing, whose long continuance shall be comforters unto all creatures. Amen.